Hey guys, good morning. Monday morning, 2 weeks left of school. That's it. So today we're just going to do a quick little lesson recapping comparing fractions. I'm going to show you basically uh, two strategies that we used in fourth grade this year, how to compare a fraction. Remember, let me draw a fraction real quick. We'll say 1/4. Let me turn that around so it's not backwards for me. There we go. We know that if we had a pie, that 1/4 means the denominator talks about how many parts it's cut into. It's cut into 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the numerator is how many that we have or that we're taking or that we're using. So 1 out of 4. So just a little recap there. Y'all know that. But remember, numerator, denominator. So one of the easiest ways that we can compare fractions is if we have the same denominator, then we just compare numerators. So let's go back to the 1/4. So if we have 1/4 and then we have 3/4. If I'm comparing those, I have the same denominator. That means we have the same 2 pizzas or pies cut into 4. This person has 1 piece of the 4 and this one has 3. Pretty simple. So when you have the same denominator, then it makes it easy. Then you just look at how many of the pieces you have. So we know that 3 is greater than 1. So 1/4 is less than 3/4. Let's look at another one. Same thing, we'll use the same denominator. We have, a different denominator, 7/8, 6/8. If your denominators are the same, then we can just look at the numerator. And we know that 7/8 is more than 6/8. Boom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But the main way that we learned it in fourth grade was using the benchmark. And I love using the benchmark. It makes sense. It's something that you can use mental math. If you have to write them down, you can. But we're going to use our benchmark in fourth grade was 0, and if you remember, it was 1. So that puts 1/2 here. I probably should have put that. Let me put that at the top. Do that again. Here's our benchmark. 0. Over here we have 1/2, which means we have 1/2 in the middle. So we're going to use that benchmark to help compare fractions. So let's look at two fractions. We're going to have 1/10 is greater than, less than, or equal to, let's say 5/8. So if I were to put this on this number line using the benchmark, the first thing I'm going to look at, I'm looking at the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. Here I have it cut into 10 small pieces, and I only have, it's 10 parts, and I only have 1 of those, so that's not a lot. Now I'm looking at this fraction of 5/8. I'm going to look at the relationship between the numerator and the denominator. I know that 5 is more than half, because half of 8 would be 4, so 5 is more than half, so it would be somewhere on this number line, a little over half. And I know that if I have 1/10, well, that's not even anywhere near half, because half of 1/10 would be, half of the tenths would be 5/10, so it's not even near half. So that'd be 1/10. So I know that 1/10 is definitely less than 5/8, and that's how easy. I might even be over explaining it. You can just look up there on a lot of these fractions when they're that far apart. But let's look at some that are a little bit closer. So now I'm going to look at 2/4 greater than, less than, equal to, let's do 3/5. Now, if I look at these two fractions, I can make equivalent fractions using a common denominator. That's something that you're going to do more so in 5th grade. So I want to just mainly focus on this benchmark up here. So I'm going to look up here and I'm going to try to figure out 2/4. I'm going to look at the relationship between that numerator and denominator. I have my pizza cut into 4 parts. I have 2. Let me just draw that real quick. So I cut it into 4 and I have 2. Well, that looks like that's equal to what? Half. Absolutely. 2/4 is equal to half. If I come over here to 3/5, now I'm thinking, wait a minute. 3 is more than half of 5. Because half of 5 is like 2 1/2. 2 1/2 and 2. So if 3 is more than 5, I don't even have to draw a model. I know instantly that this is a little bit, 3 is a little bit more than half. So if I put it up there, we have 2/4, which is exactly 1/2, and I have 3/5, which is a little bit more. And I'm not worried about today exactly, we're not trying to order them, we're just trying to figure out, we're comparing them, greater than, less than, equal to. Ordering is something, I mean, we do it in 4th grade, but it's really something that you're going to hit even harder next year, so we just want to make sure. But if you can compare 2 fractions, then you can use the same type of benchmark to order 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fractions, whatever. Usually I think like on tests they give you like 4 fractions, same thing. And I'll do one at the end just to kind of show you how we could use this benchmark to order a list of fractions. But okay, so I see here that 2/4 is less than 3/5. Really an easy lesson if you use this benchmark. And one thing that, remember I told you to do this year, we actually had the template where I would say just draw that benchmark at the top of your page there, so you know you got 0, 1/2, and 1. And then when we went into mixed numbers, we kind of touched on that a little bit. Then you would start going here, and then you'd have 1 and 1/2 and 2, and use the same concept. So let's do another one. Let's do 5/9 and 3/8. Is 5/9 greater than, less than, or equal to 3/8? So I'm looking, neither one of these are close to 0. Neither one of these are right on 1, and I'll show you that in just a second. They're both around half, but I'm going to look real quick. 5, I know 5 plus 5 is 10, so 5 is more than half, just a little bit more than half of 9. So I know that that would be here on the, little bit more than half, 5/9. That would be where I would place that if I were placing it on the number line. Now I'm going to look at 3/8. Look at that relationship. 3, is that half of 8? Not quite. It's a little bit less, because that would need to be a 4. So if 3/8 is a little less, I mean if 3 is a little bit less than 8, so that's less than 1/2. Oh, there we go. We know that 5/8 is more because it's closer to 1 whole. So 5/8 is greater than 3/8. I'm going to kind of throw a couple, I'm going to do a little bit faster. And you can see how quick, by using this benchmark, that you can compare these. This is really ugly right here. Let me try to, that's Monday morning ugly right here, boys and girls. Let's see if I can, it's going downhill on me quick. There we go. Taking it back to research and development, right there. There we go. 0, 1/2, 1. All right. Let's put some up here that you can probably look at real quick. 9/10, 1/2. Well, we know 1/2 is right there in the middle. 1/2. 9/10. That is very close, because if I had 10/10, I would have 1 whole. So I know 9/10 is almost 1 whole. Boom. Done. So this is how you can start using that. And this is, once you understand the concept of that benchmark, I actually put that benchmark in my head, and I'm starting to think about it when I'm doing fraction. Like 9/10, that's almost, well, 10/10 is 1 whole. Boom, done. It's just that quick because you have that benchmark, and it helps you just be able to do it real quick. Like I said, we can, when fractions start getting a little bit more difficult, we can start doing equivalent fractions. I know there's some other strategies out there that you are going to learn next year, but for 4th grade, this is one of the best strategies that we used all year. Let's do another one. Maybe we'll do something kind of different here. So I'm going to say 4/8 greater than, less than, equal to, I'm going to do, let's do 6/12. So first thing we need to do is we need to look at the relationship, numerator to denominator. This one's cut into 8, and I have 4 of the 8. Well, wait a minute. 4 is half of 8. So 4/8 is equal to, or equivalent to, 1/2. Now I'm going to look at this number. I have 6/12. Something jumps out to me right away. I know that 6 is half of 12. So this is also would fit under the 1/2. So 4/8 is equal to 6/12. 4/8 is equal to 6/12 because they're both equal to 1/2. And I mean, these numbers could get crazy sometimes, but just look at that relationship. Say, for example, you had 25/50ths, and then over here you had 30/60ths. It's a weird word to say. Again, we know that we're not going to let fractions like this, no matter how big they get, intimidate us, because we've got strategies. We know that 25 is half of 50. We know that 30 is half of 60. They would be equal. It's just that simple. So just make sure that you're using that benchmark. Let me show you how, if you were ordering a set of fractions, that you could do that with this same benchmark. So say we had 3/8, 5/6, and 1/10, and I'll do one more. Let's do 3/6. All right. So the first thing we do when we're using this benchmark and we're ordering is we look at one that jumps off at us right off the bat. It might be something different for you. The first one that jumps off to me is 1/10. If I have a brownie pan and it's cut up into 10 pieces and I only have one, I don't have nowhere near that whole brownie pan. I know this, I barely have any. So I'm gonna get rid of this guy right now. I know that 1/10 is just a little bit more than 0. I mean, I'm almost 0. I have almost nothing. This is not a good party at all. Now the next one that jumps out at me is 3/6, because I know that 3 is half of 6. So I'm going to put him there. 3/6 is half of 6. That leaves me these two here to look at. 3/8. Well, I know that 4 is half of 8. So 3 is a little bit less than half. So 3/8 is a little bit less than half. And then that leaves us the last fraction, 5/6. If we had a brownie pan cut into 6 pieces and you've got 5 out of the 6 pieces, you have 5 out of the 6 parts. So Monday morning, let me get some more coffee. Stinking juice, actually. I need more thinking juice right now. I have almost that whole pan of brownies because I have 5 pieces out of the 6. I have almost that whole pan, so that is almost one whole. 5, 6. Now look at this. If I were to put these in order, it would be 1/10, 3/8, 3/6, and then 5/6. By using this one simple number line, you can do that. I'm gonna do one more just to kind of refresh your memories. I know some of you are like, I remember this. That's not an issue. So let's do it again. I kind of messed it up. Call that 1/2. So let's do it again. Let's go 2/8. Let's do 9/10. Let's do 3/4, and then let's do 3. I don't want to do that. I'll do 4/9. All right, let's see how quick we can do this. Is there one of them that jumps off the board at you immediately? I'll let you look at it in a second. This one's kind of glaring at us right here. 9/10. You have 9/10 is almost equal to 10/10. It is 9 out of 10. That is almost a whole. Remember, one whole would be 10/10. Now, which one jumps out at you again? Probably the 2/8. If we had a pizza, which is generally cut into 8, and you have 2, you don't even have close to half. Half would be 4. So we know that this is less than half. And it's pretty small because you only have 2 out of 8. Yeah. I mean, that would jump out at you real quick if I come walking out of the kitchen and I have two plates in my hand, and I said I divided the pizza up, but I didn't say I divided it evenly. I said there was 8 pieces and I divided the pizza up. You're getting 2 out of the 8, and then I have 6 pieces out of the 8. You would do automatically, I didn't get as much as him. And that's the same thing. If you can just use that visual model in your head, man, it makes these benchmarks, it makes fractions so much easier. So we know that 2/8 is just a little bit more. Now I got 2 right here to kind of close. I got to look at this. So half of 4 would be 2, so 3/4 is more than half. So we're going to put him over here somewhere. Remember, when you're using the benchmark like this, and we don't actually have each little segmented thing, then you don't have to put it exactly where it needs to go at this moment. In 5th grade, you're going to have to put it exactly. And sometimes in 4th grade we did when we were putting them on the number lines, but they weren't always so close. They made it where we could space them out better. But for ordering purposes or comparing, that's perfect. And then we have 4/9. Well, 4 is half of 8, so we know that this is a little bit less. Just a little bit less, but it doesn't matter. So all that matters in math. 4/9. So if I put these in order, 2/8, 4/9, 3/4, 9/10. Pretty simple. Whenever you're doing the exit tickets, what I would do if you're writing it down on a piece of paper or maybe using a whiteboard, whatever you're doing, just put your 0, 1/2, 1 benchmark at the top. I promise you I won't do any wild and crazy ones. I might have some that are comparable. I might have some that are, I say comparable, equivalent. We might throw some like 3 6s and 4 8s at you, half and half. We might do some of that, but we're not going to get too crazy on you in 4th grade. But use this benchmark, put it down on your paper. You'll be able to do both exit tickets. For math this week, do your 1 quiz that's assigned in iReady, and then get your 45 minutes total. 45 minutes total of iReady Math. So for math this week, do the I already assigned lesson on fractions, do my 2 exit tickets, and get your 45 minutes. And that'll be your full week. It's not that bad. I know some of you that are super studious do that in a day or two. That way the rest of the week you kind of can just chill out and work on the things you want. I know some of you do one thing a day. You know, you do the assigned lesson on Monday, and then on Tuesday you do an exit ticket, then Wednesday you do an exit ticket, and then on Thursday you start to finish out your 45 minutes. Ever how you want to do it, we're fine with it. So next week next week's the last week official of school, because we're going to be returning the Chromebooks, I think June 2nd. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in the live meeting here in a little bit. But, so next week is going to be a pretty light week. We're going to, I'll probably assign one geometry quiz, and then the rest of it's just going to be work on your path. So we'll talk about that more in the morning meeting. So till next time, talk to you later. Bye.
So you want